Welcome. I am Jose Leon. I am going to talk today about rethinking higher education, design thinking in action, based on the book by Bruce M. Mack, Higher Education by Design, chapter 6 through 11. The goal of this presentation today is to discuss and present an alternative to the way that we teach in the social work education programs. We are going to talk about the course design through a designer lens, assessment as a tool for learning, the role of institutions in transformation, and what can we do to increase the participation and to ensure that the students get the information they need to become the best social workers that they can be. Imagine walking into an instructional space where students are fully engaged, discussing the most recent real-world problems. And the flow of the discussions goes very naturally. Students are engaged trying to look at problems that under any other type of circumstances, they were not able to resolve. But in this educational setting, the teacher and the students are engaged in looking at those wicked problems. It sounds ideal, isn't it? But let's be honest. Most of us have sat in classes that felt like a passive information dump in which we listened to the lecture and we took notes, and once in a while we'll look at the clock and start thinking, I am hungry, I want to go home. This class is boring. How many of us have gone through those type of classes? In Higher Education by Design, Bruce M. Mack challenges us to rethink how we structure learning today. We are diving into chapter 6 through 11 of the book, where he applies design thinking to course development, assessment, and to achieve institutional transformation. Let's explore how design thinking can reshape the way we teach, learn, and assess education. Rethinking higher education, design thinking in action. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is what really means design. If we look at a dictionary or any type of textbook, we can figure out that design means, or the meaning of design is to do or plan something with a specific purpose or intention in mind. It's something that we do purposely, something that we look at the end result. We know where we want to get to, and that's how we are able to braid through the materials and ensure that we are facilitating an honest and strong and fulfilling classroom and course and curriculum to ensure that our students are able to move forward in social work. Social work is a professional field in which we take from different theories, from different ways of thinking, and we merge everything together to be able to improve the life of the people that we work with. And for us to achieve that, we need to start with the end in mind. We need to have a design to move forward and ensure that the students, the providers, the clients, the consumers are able to reach the goal and the end that they have set for themselves. That is exactly what design is about. For us to work together to ensure that the students in social work will create a new experience, and the information that they gather in our classes, it will be significant to their lives and to the people that they work with. Let's talk about design. There's many different kinds of designs. Design is nothing new. Architects have been looking and developing and designing buildings since the dinosaurs were walking the earth. They look at what is beautiful, what is functional. Advertising always think about the design of how they are going to present the product in a way that it will be useful and attractive to others. There's book designs, environmental designs. Think about the iPhone that you guys own. Was purposely developed to attract and to work with you, to the point in which almost everyone has an iPhone. I don't like them, but many of you love them. That is a product of the design. There's different kind of designs. There is urban design, web design, and social design. Social work is a field in which we are able to have human-centered design, and we are able to allow the members of our society to have a better engagement, a better life, and we support them and try to work together. As social work educators, we need to use the same purpose when we are developing the curriculum. So what exactly is design thinking? It is a problem-solving approach that starts with empathy, as Darmaris explained last week. Empathy is at the center of this curriculum design. We need to understand the needs of the students, in this case, the people in our classrooms. And in education, that means designing classes based on students' experiences and challenges, not just what we have always done, but trying to look at new ways, the same way that, for example, Starbucks designed his offices or his stores, or Walmart placed the milk all the way to the end of the stores. The same thing, we need to start thinking purposely how we can make the classes attractive and useful to resolve the great challenges of our days. Then design in the sense of social work education is the vehicle for us to move forward and resolve many of the problems that we have today. Think about your own college experiences. For me, I remember one class in which the professor mentioned to all of us that he was the star of the chemistry department because he had the record of giving F's to students. And that was his badge of honor, that he was the most difficult professor in that department. And that stuck to me. I have made a decision early in my career that I was not going to be like that teacher, that I was going to design my classes to allow students to improve themselves, to learn. That I was not going to brag about how many people did not pass my class, but the opposite, how many people were able to move forward. In social work, we need to start thinking about how we can support the new students coming through our departments and how they can work on resolve problems. We need to have that idea of our classes are to provide an experience in which the student will look at what is happening in society and try to resolve those wicked problems that we see: poverty, child abuse and neglect, elderly abuse. And also we need to start to support the students to understand the needs that they have, as well as the needs of others around them. In education, we should create classes based on their experiences. We need to look at what is their end, where do they want to be, and facilitate the information and the material for them to reach from one point to another. We need to look for the most effective way of engaging students. And not only engage students, but also give them an opportunity to work with the material and make for them to explore how that material will make sense to them. Course design should focus on learner-centered involvement. Learner-centered is what we need to be concerned with. And to reach that particular goal, we need to start looking at different ways of providing and presenting the material. Perhaps we need to develop some prototypes on how we can engage the students what type of activities will be meaningful to them. And not only that, we also should reflect on the lessons after each lesson or after each class. We should reflect back and see, hey, this worked today, or this did not work today. How can I improve that? That way of designing and looking at how we can adapt the material should be our primary goal as a teacher. For us to improve our pedagogical skills, we need to stop, reflect, design the interventions and classes that we are going to provide, wait and observe how the students are reacting, and if necessary, reframe. Think about a class that was ineffective during your years of a college or university. Think about if you will do everything again, or if you are going to take another class, how will you change that? What would you like to see that your professors change? Those type of things is what we need to keep in mind when we are talking about reframing and reflecting and revising, because that is the key for us to succeed as teachers and professors in social work. Social work is a very dynamic field that takes from different disciplines. And if we are not reflecting and reviewing what we are teaching, perhaps our students will not benefit from our knowledge and become the best professionals that they can be. Not only engagement of students and providing material is important, but another area that is as important as engagement is assessment. Assessment is the process in which the student can learn how they're progressing, and the teacher knows what needs to be added to the curriculum. Some common problems that I have seen through assessment is that many times students are overemphasizing the grades. They're only getting engaged and doing the assessment because they want to have a good grade. But for me, assessment, the value of assessment is that process in which they learn, that they understand what is available to them and how they can improve themselves. Another thing that I have seen in my experience have been that there is these rigid testing structures in which students are provided a test or a paper, and there is no way to them to or discuss with the professor what needs to be done, or discuss with other students how they can improve. And once the test is completed, there is no way to go back. That is not a learning experience. And hand with hand of that lack of flexibility during testing is the need for feedback. Feedback needs to be frequent and as soon as possible, because that is the main meat of the learning process. Think about a way that business hire employees. Think about how they assess their skills and if they can do the job or not. It's through those interviews and psychological assessment that the person who's hiring is able to ensure that the new employee will be able to perform. The same thing happens with social work. We need to ensure that we provide as real examples and close to the real examples that the students will see in their professions and in their um, areas of practice, that we should develop those assessments to help them to become better professionals as possible. One of the things that education should do is to look at real life problems and design these classes to allow the students to wrestle with some of these situational um, experiences to help them to start to adapt and apply theory and practice to resolve clients' dilemmas. Some of the things that we can use assessment for is to create projects that the students can apply the class material, that they can try to uh, work with each other in teams to help them to shape the way that they become professionals. Good assessment isn't about making students jump through hoops. It is about helping them to grow. In one of my classes, in my bachelor's, there was this professor who every week asked us to write an essay. And it needed to be an essay with 5 to 6 paragraphs, close to 700, 800 words. And we hand in the essays. And through the whole quarter, we never receive anything back. We have no idea how we did or if he even read the essays. That type of assessment meant nothing to us, just busy work. That is not what I strive as a teacher. I hope that each one of you will strive to become the best teachers that you can and provide formative feedback and positive assessment to each one of your students, that they can reflect on the things that they have improved themselves and they can move forward to become better professionals. Okay, so far we have talked about individual classes, courses, and we talk about assessment. Now I would like to talk a little bit about applying design thinking at the institutional level. One of the things that we need to keep in mind is that in institutions, there is always change. If there is something that is always happening in many of our institutions, is that there is always new change. And one of the things I have learned is that change, we should not resist. We should embrace it and move along. Every day that we go through life, we are facing change. Today, I am not the same person that I was yesterday. And I am not today the same person I will be tomorrow. We need to embrace change. And as faculty, we need to lean on each other to be able to survive all these new changes and new ways of doing things. We need to also include the student voices in the curriculum. We need to ensure that students are part of that new wave of learning. Social work is part of a profession in which the base of our knowledge is social interaction. That's what we do. We need to embrace that part of our discipline. We need to look at innovation and look at the things that we need to do to ensure that when we are rethinking our institutions, agencies, we are able to incorporate everybody's point of view. We need to look at cross-disciplinary learnings. We need to look at what is important from psychology, what is important from biology, neurosciences, how we can put everything together with the sociological theories and become a field in which we take everything from everybody and apply it to improve people's life. We need to listen to students' feedback, clients' feedback, and ensure that we are able to work together. In their situation in which we will be stuck, but when we work together, we will be able to break the ice and move forward to the next thing that we will be able to move to the next thing for better and good things for us and our community. Think about it. What will be one change that you will do to improve your college, to improve your institutions? What can you do to put everything together, to look at how we can move forward? The biggest takeaway from higher education by design is that education should be flexible, student-centered, and always evolving. Challenge yourself to redesign one part of your curriculums or your course or semester. Try to bring that student voice into your designing. Advocate for learning. Help students to think and not to memorize. Help them to resolve problems, to apply themselves to real world wicked problems, to be able to support each other, talk to administrators, support an initiative, try to look for new teaching models, and to prioritize real learning. Higher education isn't broken. Higher education is just ready for an upgrade. And that starts with all of us. Look at how we can create that magic. How can we open our hearts to our students? How we can teach with intention, and how we can ensure that once we leave the academia, we have left a better place than when we started. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate your support, and I will see you on Thursday. Thank you.